Hey guys, welcome to another trading session with me. Today, again, we are going to go over the US market just because early in the morning I'm working with my members. We had a really decent UK session so far. I'm not that keen on trying to find 101 trades, at least not right now. Maybe we'll see how that goes. But at the moment, I'm really happy with the results from today. Today we had two trades, one loss, one win. The win was the pound dollar. Definitely the pound dollar done exactly what we wanted. And I want to explain you guys how we set up the trade. Just give me a moment. Or better, let's go back later on. Let me just switch to the charts. Okay. We have a decent amount of people. People are still coming in. I'm really happy. Like, I want to do a free session every week. We are going to even try to get two sessions every single week that will be free for everyone. Because I enjoy it and I'm doing it anyway. So I really want more people to join and learn. Like, definitely, US dollar is moving higher. Our indicator is suggesting what? That the current trend is bullish. So our indicator is telling us that the trend is bullish. We want to remain with that bullish stance, and ideally, let me just give me a moment, guys, to arrange a few things so I can see clearly. So if the trend is bullish, that means what? That market is making more higher highs and higher lows. So automatically, if we are seeing that market is bullish, we want the market to continue to do the same thing. So we want the market to continue to create new higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and so on. Of course, market will change from time to time, but at the moment we need to consider that there are no news in the US session. Like we have some news, but one news that's really not going to change the market for today. So really believe that we should be good to go and that market will just follow technicals. Now, when we are talking about the US dollar, we need to take a look at the larger picture. We take a larger picture, maybe this is more bearish. From people that join because you want Elliott wave, for me, this is nothing more than a little bit of a complex correction. And how am I looking at this? Let me hide the indicator so you're not really seeing too much things on your chart. I'm looking at this as a potential complex correction. Now, that correction can be over, but if you go with that Elliott wave idea of ideal ideal projection from W to Y, we never tested that equal X. So I would not rule out the possibilities of additional push down before market continue to move higher because larger picture trend is bullish. So we need to remain with that stance. Now, only thing that I care at the moment is just to rely on the trend as close as that's possible. See? Okay. So what we want is the market to hold, technically speaking, low of the day. So while market remains above 153, we want to see a new high. For trading, because most people don't trade dollar index as a future, you can relate to the same thing where the euro in other pairs. Just inverse that around. Like we had a trade, like I mentioned before, in the pound dollar. For me, the pound dollar was the best setup for the UK session. The main reason were news. Like we had a lot of news from the UK early in the morning, and if something is going to move, it's going to be something that had the news. And I wanted to say what? Like, I wanted to see a stronger dollar index because to me, this move looked like a potential flag. And flag is a formation that suggests the potential continuation of the larger trend, or better to say, a previous trend. Since the previous trend was bullish, these three leg move are nothing more than a simple flag, so continuation should be towards the upside. And while that's true, I seen exactly the same thing on the pound dollar, where we had our indicator telling us the trend is bearish and that while we remain below 134.80, we had a better chance to look for the short trades. If you look closely, this three leg came there, came towards this zone over here. A nice looking potential resistance zone, so we had a reason to believe that market should continue to move lower, especially after the news that we've seen during the UK session. The market moved down and we entered the short at the pullback. So it wasn't something crazy trade, it was like 10 pip trade. When I say 10 pip trade, I'm more referring to the idea that the stop was around 5-10 pips, nothing more than that. So after market rejected at 50%, we went short with the stops over here and just went for a simple one to do. That went perfectly well, called it, market still continued to move down, but at the moment, do I believe the pound is the best pair for the US? Probably not. I'm saying not more because at the end of the day, we missed this part, like retest. And if I want to get into a trade, I would never get when price is so, let's call it a discount. Yeah, so I would love to see some reason for the market to, like market returning towards the weekly open, they are finding that resistance, more sellers. And from there, trying to move lower. And I would try it from there. But selling now, I would still need to use the same stop loss that I originally used during the UK session. And technically speaking, our risk reward would not be ideal. Even if you just target these previous week's lows that are at 133.40, you would not get good risk reward, maybe 1 to 1. For me, that's not called trading, that's called gambling. Like I know a lot of gurus out there, they'll tell you 1 to 1 is the best risk reward, but at the end of the day, you can't. Technically speaking, mathematically speaking, you can't be profitable just because it's hard to keep that great win rate all time long. So it's better to wait for a pullback. Let's see. If we have a pullback, we can try it. If not, we'll skip it. We'll wait for the next setup. The euro. Euro is slightly better because let's start again. I say the euro is slightly better. I more refer to the idea that euro is lagging behind the pound at the moment. During the UK session, I had the same idea, but euro moved first higher to test the weekly open, found the resistance there, and starting to move down. So at the end of the day, while pound dollar is around the lows, euro is still not there. So if you need to look for a short trade and the idea of dollar continuing to push higher, I would probably try more some short plays in the euro USD the same way we try the pound dollar. So for example, I would wait for a pullback to happen, play the short at the pullback, of course, after you have your confirmation and things like that. And just look to target one to do, nothing more. Everything else would be gambling. Of course, if you want a little bit more, you can go for this low over here at 114.02. So 114, better to say. But in general, 1 to 2 is all I care about these days. Because 1 to 2 is more than enough for me to, let's say, pay my bills, keep earning decent from trading, but also I don't need to force myself to, let's say, be always right. Like I know 1 to 3 was my personal favorite for a long time, but during the last few years, I changed to 1 to 2. It's working better for me, my stress levels, especially when we are talking about day trading. Like you're seeing, everything that we are showing is the 15 minutes time frame. Keep in mind, same things apply when you are trying to use the indicator and tool on a higher time frame, like hourly time frame or 4 hour time frame. But there, when we are talking about the swing trading, I would probably be okay with holding a position for 1 to 3. While day trading, especially with the war going on in Iran and with Trump bullshitting all day long, I'm really not that comfortable holding my trades. So 1 to 2 is more than enough for me. Keep in mind, the indicator is always using the higher time frame to get your trend. So trend is 15 minutes. We are trying to get a trend reading from a 4 hour time frame. Of course, you can customize everything inside of that part. Also, what we can see in the Euro USD is this bullish order block, and I don't think it's that great, that strong, but I would love to see the market taking that bar down from there. A pullback place maybe are not that bad idea. When I'm saying not that bad idea, of course, you always need to plan. What if market don't reach my desired entry, like that pullback, and you still want to get into trade? You always want to have more than one potential entry point so you never miss the trade. And that's why I like this tool, because it marked me everything that I need to know instantly. So pound continue to move down. We set what to do there. Let's see, the trend is bullish. But I'm thinking about the Aussie, like have a strong resistance that could potentially become a support now. Like I watched that part during the UK session. I mean, still the UK session, but market's still not that great, especially with the idea that dollar index is pushing higher. So I would love to see the dollar index a little bit lower if Aussie dollar is going to work, because all the markets are correlated. So you need to pay attention to all the small clues. Like ideally, you would need to see price breaking 70.90, closing above that, and from there trying some pullback plays higher while using the low of the day as your potential stop loss. And I'm fine with that. But more likely scenario, at least when we are looking at all the market, is that this is going to break, offer some resistance later, move us back down before we continue to move higher. I mean, there is no denial that the trend that you are seeing here is bullish. Like, there is no denial. Let me just check that my second PC is not turned off. Let's see, like, I want the market to test this larger order block. Like, I really want that part. Like, for me, I would love to see this in the long run. But in general, when we are talking about the place, selling for me at this moment is not that ideal, because price action looks bullish. Until market tells you differently, you stay with what market is telling you. And you're not jumping from one side to another. I mean, you can always go try some short position if you know what you're doing and you get your confirmation that the trend, at least the short term, has changed. But even that, like, I wouldn't target more than 69.95, and that's not really 25 trade. Kiwi dollar, I tried as a backup to the pound dollar today, like some sort of a hedge play. I want to explain you that part. I closed it early. It was fine. Uh, uh, uh. Trend was bullish. It's bullish. We had, at least during that UK session, we were here. Like after a strong spike higher, market and what? A three-leg move, a potential flag. And the same thing I told earlier, flag is the continuation formation, suggesting a potential continuation in a direction of the larger trend. Since I was bearish and short on the pound dollar as the backup, I tried the Kiwi dollar, a small position with the stops around the lows, because if Kiwi went higher, I would get my one to two. If pound went lower, I would get my one to two. So even if I risk the same amount for both pairs, the worst case is that I would be at least at the break even. Like even if I had two targets. But I tried a small position like half of my pound dollar size. Overall, it was fine. So what I'm trying to see here is how market will react after we test 58.37, but as we are seeing a strong bearish reaction. We take a look at the higher time frames, remove droppings. What we can see is that market found the resistance. This is the order block that is still offering a nice resistance. So a short term, I wouldn't be surprised that we continue to see a push lower. I would need the market to take this part down for me to change my idea for trying some short position. Like really, like I would really love to see the market taking this 58.25 before I start to look for the short place. Seems that weekly open is still the key level for majority of the instruments out there. So just following and looking at the levels, how market would react, but I wouldn't trade it right now. It's not perfect. Dollar CAD continue to move higher. Same thing as, let's say, a dollar index. Trend is bullish until market proves differently. We want to look for a further push higher. This is 1 hour order block. So I want to see market at 141.06. If market presents us the opportunity, I really believe that at this moment, this could work out. And when I say at this moment, like earlier during the UK session, what I said to the member was this. Like last night, we, at the end of a trading day for the Forex market, we seen a spike higher in the dollar CAD. But that spike higher for me wasn't created because there were plenty of buyers interested. More the opposite part. So I needed a little bit more confirmation. Market retested that area again. We are seeing a bullish price action. So if you get the reason to buy like a decent pullback, decent test of some order block level, you can try a long position against the low. Like for me, I believe that you can create that if you are targeting that higher time frame order block, you can create good enough risk reward. And you don't need to target it all the way till here to get one to do. Because all I care is always, like I said, one to do. So if you get the pullback, it's not that bad to try the pair. The pairs continue to move higher. I'm going to say you the same thing as the last week. I'm still afraid of this pair. The Same story as I told you the last time. Maybe even better now, just because the triangle has been taken out. And I'm more bullish. Like, there is no question that you should be bullish at the dollar yen because over the years, markets just been moving higher. So, pullback plays make a lot of sense to me. Short term, like today, we had smaller triangle break up, so automatically pullback plays can work out because you can see a lot of choppy price action here. I would not be surprised if market revisit this 162.55 area, and from there, if we get some decent opportunity, like a decent formation aligned with a nice order block, we can try to get long. But other than that, I would really stay aside. Urian bullish, like bullish from current levels, like it's bullish while we hold above 185.34. We don't have any level test of any levels yet. There's some la- mm, order blocks that could be used and that we can check, like how markets will react after we see a 185.70 to 185.63. I believe that if markets find the buyers there, we can easily try to get into a long position towards these liquidities, like around 185.95 to 186 area, and we can create decent risk reward. While if you buy now, you need to put your stop down here. Like you need to put your stop loss down here, and you can't create good enough risk reward. So wait for the market to test your levels, and from there, plan your trades. Pound yen moved nicely lower. I believe that we will switch to the downside pretty soon, especially since we took this low over here. Pound dollar has been moving nicely, and because of that, we are seeing a stronger bearish reaction here. So automatically, while pound remains in this downfall, definitely we can expect to see a continuation of the bearish movement here. Now, we are right now testing the support area around 218, and maybe we see some pullbacks, but I would only try a position if we get to, let's say, weekly open. Like, if we get towards the weekly open, we can't try to get into short position before that. It would really be a waste of time because it's too low, and I need to at least use this part to 1850 as my stop. Eurocat is something that I believe that we can potentially expect to see some reaction during the US session. So if you need to pick the pair that I will be watching during the US session today, it's definitely going to be the Eurocat. Like trend larger, say bearish. We are seeing the 1 hour order block just above us. Market is failing to reach that part for a while now. And I want to see it either reaching that part and from there wait for the market to take below 160.55 and from there sell towards the new lows. But I need first a test of the larger zone. Why are you always looking for the test of the larger zone or level? Is simple. You always want to enter where there is a chance to get more buyers or in this case sellers interested in some instrument. Technically speaking, Eurocat has been working nicely towards the downside for a while. Last week was the best pair for us. in terms of the profit. So I want to continue to play. And we are still, technically speaking, labeling that part as a bearish trend. Euros is similar story as the EuroCAD. Maybe here I would not put it in my top list for today, more because we are not approaching any decent zone. So we would probably need a more waiting time here. And if I tell you, okay, guys, if market come here, you start thinking about the sell, that's not going to happen today, especially with the idea that we don't have any news coming up till the end of the day. So automatically, I'm not expecting anything crazy. Maybe a recovery, fine, but trend is bearish and you can only use some reversal models to get into the long plays, not the trend models. Pound Aussie, same story. Like, trend is bearish. There is no question about that. We have a plenty of order blocks. There is the upside. One, you just need to wait. See how market will react from there. Try to get a position after you get your confirmation, and everything should be fine. But you can't sell right now. Like, I was hoping, to be honest, like during the UK session, we were here, and I was telling the members the same thing. We need to wait for the market to retest this hourly order block if you want to get into short position. After that, we created this smaller 15 minutes order block, but market never retraced back. So for me, I didn't see any great trading opportunity yet in this pair. We'll see how market will end the day, but I really don't believe that we are going to see that strong pullbacks till the end of the day. Root higher, definitely, if we are expecting what the dollar index to be higher, we want US, better to say, crude to continue to move higher. Crude is right now testing some order block, and I want to see the market taking that order block, and from there we can reuse it as a potential support to try to get a further push higher. If we look at the higher time frame picture, definitely crude has done a nice job recovering. But right now, we are doing what? We are recovering at least this move, at least this bearish move. Market needs to reset. So automatically, I'm not going to go predict the crude, especially since war is going on and too much manipulation going around the crude. But I can still trade the crude as a day trader and use that simple logic, like use the trend, use the levels as my potential signals to get ready for a trade, wait for the confirmation, and if everything is okay, I can jump into the trade, try to get towards 85, 50, 86. That's all I want from crude at the moment. Like, I'm not trying to hold it as a swing trade. Gold trend is bullish. Because I covered that part with the members during the UK session, but I want to cover it with you guys. You look at the market is in a downtrend. Today was the first day when we seen some bullish momentum, but is that bullish momentum a real move? And the idea that we completed this entire larger bearish cycle, I really don't believe that. Like the last time, like for entire month, because this was tested when June 30, and we are right now 21st of July. So automatically, we are ranging for the last 21 days. That's the reason why I'm not that convinced that we are ready to see that new all-time highs in gold. I really believe that we are going to see one more push down. Even if you are not looking at this from the Elliott wave point of view, it's hard to say with full confidence that this low is in and that the market must move higher. Even if we see the move higher, I just believe that that move is going to be limited. Do I believe we can find something to trade here? Yes. But how I want to approach the gold is simple. Right? Time frame. The trend is bullish. I'm looking at all potential long plays like formation plays, level plays. That part is fine with trying something up. But I'm not convinced and won't be convinced that market is ready for something bigger until market don't take this 4100 area. Only after that I can look for a pullback place and try something a little bit higher towards it 4200 to 300, but I'm not going to hold it for a long time. Like day trades are fine and they're always going to be fine, but with last 21 days, gold has been ranging. And the best setups were like selling around the highs, buying around the lows. That seems to be working. I don't want to change that. I really don't want to change that. Similar story in silver, like similar story. Also, if we are looking at the dollar index that is trying to move higher, what's logical to expect in the gold? We want the gold to go lower. When I say lower, I just mean to retrace back towards, let's say, 4,040, maybe a little bit lower, 4,035. And from there, if other pairs align, we can get into long. But like this, I really don't see it. Similar story in silver. Like I would love to see at least a test of this 15 minutes order block before I say, okay, we can try to get into a long position. Like trend is bullish, I get it, but we are in a premium zone. And if I'm just looking for a previous week's high as my next target, it's going to be hard for me to, let's say, get good enough risk reward. Like if I tell you use this as your stop loss, the chance of market reaching that part is high, over 70%. So automatically it's a bad idea. But after we test some important level and get the confirmation, we can start preparing to attack this part. Copper, definitely the king from commodities. We've seen a really strong momentum here. Really strong momentum. For me, copper is a great option for a potential UK session. And what I want is definitely the market to return here. 643, 644, and from there to try to get towards 656. Like, I'm not looking for more than that. But how strong move this move is, I really believe that we are going to test those levels. In the smaller time frames, we are, let's say, ranging for the last couple of hours. So I really want to see the market returning, finding more buyers, and from there to try to get into position. Everything else is a waste of time. This 1 hour order block is also a good potential option for what you can wait to get triggered and from there to try to get into position. Now, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's see. Bitcoin higher, moving higher nicely. My view, we are just correcting this move. Like we are just correcting this move. Is the hype on the Bitcoin over? I don't believe so. Do I believe that Bitcoin is going to move towards the new highs? Yes, maybe not right now, but yes. I believe that you can chase it as a day trade. Yes, you can as a swing trade. At this moment, I would more prefer to be a seller if I need to hold compared to be a buyer. But as a day trader, I want to follow the trend. Want to follow the formations. Bitcoin is really following formations nicely from the start, so from the beginning, so automatically return towards the previous week's highs or the lower order blocks or even weekly open can be a decent opportunity to start thinking and planning how to buy and look for the new higher high. So until market don't prove you differently, we stay bullish. Same story in Ethereum. Maybe even Ethereum a little bit better, just because we went lower over this small range from yesterday. Let's say maybe today. So automatically we done that pullback. So maybe a small pullback long can work out, but here keep in mind we already tested this previous week's high, previous month high. No? So 2090 is that next area that where we could expect to see the Ethereum trend look bullish. Longs are fine. Just keep in mind that you want to get your confirmation. Like after you get the confirmation, it's perfect. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this short session, that you understand what you should be focusing on today. There are not plenty of options, especially since there are no news, but market is doing fine, really fine. The market is doing fine. We are going to continue to work. I believe this week we will have one more free session with you guys. I believe Thursday is going to be more because I want to show you more how this indicator is working. And but you can see that it's easy, like it's giving you everything. I don't need to draw anything to get direction, get the key levels, and get the reason why I want to get into a trade. Hope you enjoyed the session, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all soon.